live show. So this is where I come here every Saturday around 11 a.m. Sorry, I'm running a tiny bit late today, but every Saturday I come here around 11 a.m. This time will fluctuate a little bit because my wife's playing hockey again now, so it depends with my son and where she plays hockey and what time. But it's around 11 a.m. every week where I'll talk about a high engagement post from the group. And this week's post is Tareen. I hope I've said that correctly. I'm a little bit dyslexic. It's her post about, is the market too hot? And what a question, and everybody's talking about at the moment. So I'm going to read this post out. Apologies, it's quite a long post, and as I just said, I'm a little dyslexic, so I might stumble a little bit on a longer post like this. But let's read the post and then we'll discuss this post. So hi everybody, introduce yourself, get involved in the conversation. Do you think the market is too hot? Well, there's not a question, do you think the market's too hot? The market is too hot, but let's give your views around this. So this is around builders, something I'm having challenges with at the moment as well. So is the market too hot? I'm struggling to find builders / contractors to help me turn a 3-bedroom house into a 4-bedroom HMO in Coventry. Last 2 weeks, sorry, I said I'm a bit dyslexic. The last 2 weeks, I've arranged 5 builders who have been recommended by Facebook groups to see the property and give quotes. Only 4 turned up. Out of the 4 that turned up, only 1 sent back a quote which was overpriced. The other 3 contractors didn't pick up the phone nor reply emails, texts, blah blah blah. Then I called around many local builders. Most of them wouldn't pick up the phone nor reply to text messages. The ones that picked up the phone told me that they are fully booked until the end of the year. One is booked up until next March. What is happening here? Do you know any decent builders, contractors that are available to start a project at the beginning of June 2021? Thanks. So that's Tareen. I hope I've said that correctly. But yeah, wow, the market. Everybody's kind of talking about the property market and how hot it is and how hard it is to find deals. But it's because loads of home buyers are buying as well as investors. But as a knock-on effect, this has made builders really, really, really busy. And I'm experiencing this. I've had some relationship. I've got a relationship with one of my trades. I've had a relationship with him for probably about 6-7 years. He's always prioritised us, always give us a fantastic price, and over the last year his prices have doubled and his lead time on the jobs for us has massively stretched. Morning Philip, how you doing mate? How are you experiencing this? So how are you experiencing this? This is one of my trades. Like we've got a refurb that we went to start, so one of the other trades that we work with, again, I usually go through a common cycle with trades. What usually happens with trades, I've got some trades that I've kept for a long period of time, but as you grow bigger and your portfolio gets bigger and the properties under management gets bigger, you need more and more of everybody. And what happens is every year where we're leading more of everybody and trying new ones out, usually a common cycle happens with trades. I usually, especially like refurb teams as well, I usually find the refurb team. They usually do the first, they usually go well for the first 3, maybe 4 jobs, and then it starts fracturing a little bit. And this is the common cycle that happens with them. They usually, most of the refurb teams I find are usually a bit smaller because they're usually priced for where I need to be. The bigger boys, and I get it. I run a business. The ones that are really running at scale have to then account for all the vans they've got on the road. They usually got all their lads on the road and they pay for all the vans. They usually got 2 or 3 people in the office doing the admin and the invoicing. And the reason they're efficient at scale is because they've got a massive team behind them: bookkeepers, admin staff, secretaries. So that comes with a cost. So then I usually go for a bit of a smaller one-man sort of band who's got a couple of labourers with him maybe, and just one van, one job, and he subs out like maybe the electrics and the gas to other people. And they're the people I generally niche and go for. But what happens with those is they do a few jobs for me and they may be doing their other jobs in the background. But because they're doing some jobs, they get a bit more proper. They're doing a good job. I also then go, can you handle more work? I usually am a recipe of my own failures also, because you end up loading them up a bit too much because they've done such a good job on the few jobs. They're always responsive. Yeah, I can handle a bit more. We'll hire a few guys. And my response back to them is always the same. Hiring people is not straightforward. If you've got guys that you can just start a job on Monday with you that are not busy already, they're not busy usually for a reason. It's usually either because they're not very good at their job or they're super unreliable. They're the 2 reasons that most people, especially today at the moment with the market so hot, they're usually the 2 reasons that most builders are... or most anybody, not even builders, but anybody you want to hire in your team, the reason they're probably, let me close the door a second, my wife's hoovering in the background. Sorry guys, yeah, the main two reasons people are sitting about doing nothing at the moment is for them main two things. So then they hire these people in and then it causes them fractures. So what happens usually in this cycle, as I said, the guy that I hire is really good, doing one job, he's on the job, he's working, he's on the tools himself, he's got his labourer and then he's managing the subcontractors. Then when he tries scaling up and running two, three projects at a time, what happens is he's then becoming just a manager and he's not on site all the time. He's trying to go between site to site, so you're losing his actual trade time because he's trying to go across sites, and he's then doing more management than he is actually on the tools. And then he's trying to hire people, and he's not experienced at hiring people, he's not experienced at project managing. Like most people think this is easy, just hire a few people, chuck them on, they'll get on how you would get on, or they'd get on how they would get on as if you was on site with them all day long. And it's not always that straightforward. You need systems and processes and key performance indicators and management things to and a different level of planning to be able to operate this on a bigger scale. And that's the fracturing point I usually get with them. As they scale up a little bit, they fracture them, and then as they fracture, which I always understand as well, because as I scale up in my business, I fracture as well. Every business will go through a hectic stage as you scale up to that next level, which you've got to organise and work out. So I'm patient with people to work that out with them if I can. But what ends up happening as a result though is when you scale up, you always have a dip in your income. And this is where a lot of people, not always, but majority of the time, have a dip in your income. And this is what a lot of people don't realise with that scale. You've got to go through a little bit of pain to get to that next level of scale, and a little bit of hecticness to get to that next level of scale. But what I found with a lot of businesses and builders, not just builders, I'm not like directness at builders, is as they get that disruption, what happens is they then try factoring that in back to you. So they'll either give you jobs done that's not to a good standard, or they give you their prices go up trying to factor in the mistakes they're making, where you should be factoring the mistakes in yourself, not trying to pass them on. Or they don't make mistakes and they scale up really well, but their prices go up, they get more popular. And I get that as well. If you're more popular and you're doing a great job, the great job deserves, like, it comes with a reward of getting paid more money often. So I get that the fact that as they get better and they scale up, they want to be rewarded more, so they take more responsibility on. So I get that as well. But sometimes me getting it and it working for me on my deals is two different things, you know. Because I get it, I'm not got no grudges against them for doing that, but also I've got to look at the bottom line of my deals and say, does it still work for me? Which quite often it don't. Then I go through the process of finding somebody new. At the moment, it's really difficult. We just come to the end of that with one of our builders at the moment, where exactly that, he spread himself too thin, took on too much, and we just literally, he's meant to start a job. We've got a job been going on for about 2.5 months now. It should have been easily done within a month. What happened is the day he was meant to start, we had materials booked to turn up on site. He wasn't there in that morning. Again, as I said, he was stretching himself too thin. He's trying to hire people's letting him down, but it's happened multiple times now. So you've got to put a line in that. You keep on just chasing that. Would it have been finished maybe a couple of weeks earlier? Maybe. The thing is, I've got loads of contact. We've bought over 80 properties in the area, got lots of contacts and lots of trades. But the difficulty we've found with this is because we had the keys in our hand and we wanted to start straight away, it was getting the trades on the site. Like, anybody booked in, everybody was booked up, or even the ones we've worked with for ages, everybody just booked up with abundance of work. So yeah, it's challenging at the moment with trades. I'm finding it. You've really got to give them a long lead time. But again, the difficulty you have with when you're buying a house is you don't know exactly you don't know that. You can only say we're roughly going to complete then. The solicitors are slow at the moment, so that rough completing them, like last year, we broke down a relationship with an existing trade that we've had a relationship for years. He got fed up with us because I said to him, look, we'll have the keys by the time this week, and something happened in the legals and it got prolonged. And he booked out his week, and obviously he's super in demand at the moment. He's booked out 10 days to work with us, and we didn't have the keys. So he got right, kind of rightly, he got fed up with that because he was like, oh, I could have booked other jobs in, and I put this aside. So it's a real balance, you know, at the moment with trades. And as I said, I've got a really good network and I'm fairly experienced, you know. I wouldn't say I'm the best at this. It's an area I enjoy designing the properties, but I don't enjoy project managing them that much because, yeah, I just don't enjoy managing multiple trades. And it's an area that, like, I don't pay as much attention to as I probably could. I openly hold my hands up to that, so I'm not going to say I'm the best at it, but we are experiencing it. We've done over 100 refurbs to date, especially the houses, the move-outs and the purchases and the turnaround refurbs from existing properties. So being experienced, having a good network, we are challenged with this at the moment. We've got a job took over double the time. There's a couple other things that happened with this as well, like the bath was the wrong size, it didn't fit. We got one of them L-shaped baths, didn't fit in there, so you had to send it back. Then it took a while to send back, but then the guy was booked in for the day after the bath come. We now had a longer lead time getting him back out again because he had that booked in and he had to go elsewhere. He's got other jobs. He wasn't accounting for that. So yeah, a few other things along the way has happened. But it is difficult out there. I'd like to hear what other people's views around this. Kurt, how you doing, mate? Good morning. What's your favourite investment area in the north and why? My favourite investment area in the north is Stockton-on-Tees, and the reason behind it is because I know it. And the reason I know it is because I met a guy who's really experienced from there that knew it really well. When you remote property investing, Kurt, what you want to do is pick one area, especially to start with, because building up your trades, building up that credibility, building up the relationships with the agents takes a lot of time and effort. You can fast forward that time and effort by building an online profile, but it still takes time and effort. It also takes a little bit of time and effort to get to know the area and understand the area. So you'll spread yourself too thin if you go to multiple areas. So pick one. Ideally, the reason I picked that is because I knew him. He moved down from Stockton-on-Tees down to Essex. I met him. We got along. He had loads of properties in the area, so that was my entry in there. If you know somebody in an area already that the price matches with the prices you can afford, because a lot of people go, I'll go Manchester, but you're looking at 150k entry level at Manchester now, and if you haven't got any deposits for that and you only got 30k deposits, Manchester's not going to work. So the price barrier fits what you want to do. There's a few more fundamentals behind it than that, but if you know somebody, ideally that's where you start with, as long as you can afford the deals there and they stack to the criteria you want. If not, get online, get in these groups. If you think of an area, what I would do to pick an area is look at what you want to spend and the yield you want, and then geographically look on the map, the closest place where you can find a city, not little towns or villages, where you can find a city that's closest to you that meets the price barriers that you want to enter in. So I hope you find that helpful. But getting back to the builder thing, is anybody, morning Philip, are you having any challenges with this? Sue, how are you getting on? I know you've got a deal coming through. Have you found your builders? Trisha, how are you finding this? Love to hear your views around this, but it is just challenging. It's one of those things you need to persevere with. Like, it just, the market is tough out there, but you've got two options. You can either get on with some challenges and have a tough market and have deals going through still, and maybe they take a little bit longer on your refurbs, maybe it cost you a little bit more, or have nothing, you know. So they're the two options. I know the option I'm taking. You might have to do a few more viewings to get the deals done and that hunt a little bit harder to get deals done. But there is still deals to be done. But I know my option. I'd rather work a little bit harder and put a little bit more effort in and still have deals than just do nothing and sit on my hands. So love to hear your views. There is still opportunity out there. It is a little bit more challenging at the moment, but it is still definitely worth it and rewarding. For me, as I said, you buy a property, even if it takes a month longer to refurb it, you're going to have that for life, potentially 20 years. You're looking at long-term investments. So we wind out and look at the long-term for it. But it is challenging. Doing what you're doing so far. Let's see if I forgot to say your name. It's going to have gone off now. My phone's closed down. But keep on doing what you're doing. So I've got a qualified, disqualified process how we find builders, and in that process, just get out there, asking the groups. You just got to consistently do it. Get on the portals. They are busy, and the thing is, the all right builder might be out there, but might be busy this week. But you might post a job on Rated People. Rated People's really died off now saying that. But you might phone up one of them builders next week, and he answers the phone. He just was busy this week. So just keep consistent with it, and you just got to keep on and persevering, and not feeling too downhearted when you ain't getting them answers or when you ain't getting them returns. Just keep on pushing forward with that. Suzite said, we'll keep you updated on our progress. Just about to start on one for refurb plus two more going through conveyancing. Oh, well done, Sue. Massive well done. Please share that with my community as well. You know my community. I think that's inspiring for everybody in there also. Yeah, massive well done. How you find it, Sue, with the builders at the moment? Have you got builders lined up for the refurbs? Definitely one of the advices I would give is try and get them lined up as far as possible as you can. Another little tip around this is when it comes to exchange of contracts, when you know you're about to exchange, what I do with builders is I don't ask builders to come out until I know I'm about to exchange contracts. For my quotes, just in case we don't get it over the line. Still 1 in 3 deals are falling out of bed. That 1 in 3 deals, morning Ryan, how you doing? Out of them 1 in 3 deals that's falling out of bed, that statistic's going up. It's not gone up to 2 in 3, but it has gone up. The amount of people out of them 1 in 3 still, because it's quite a broad thing you can do it with, if that makes sense. the numbers have gone up for how many deals are falling out of bed, which is an opportunity for deals to come back to you if you've got a relationship with agents. But that said, you don't want to get builders running, especially when they're busy, running around if you're doing quotes and the deal falls out of bed. So what I do is I wait right until we're about to exchange contracts. I know we're going to get the deal then I get the builder coming out. I then try and manipulate the time in. So I say to the solicitor, hold to, we're just going to get the builders to go out to get a quote. We'll get a quote and we'll say, when can you start? If he says we can start in 3 weeks' time, and we say, look, completion's in 3 weeks' time, the vendor might push you for that. So depending on where the vendor says, but then you try and match that to where the builders place it, where he can place you in. There's no point getting the keys before you can start. So that's a little tip what we do when we get to them stage of exchange of contract. Make sure our builders go do the quotes then and see what their availability is. Then you can exchange as soon as you can, just make sure you secure that property, and then delay the completion to the time they're available. If it's a really long lead time, they might not go with that, and you might just have to suffer having the property sitting there empty for a couple of weeks. But again, as I said, look at it for the long term, it still is worth it when you look at the bigger picture of it. So yeah, keep us posted on that. Love to hear your views around it. Remember, if you don't keep on moving on, you're not going to get anywhere. And if you don't evolve your ideas, you're never going to live on your own terms. So evolve your ideas, live on your own terms. It's the All About Property live show. Look forward to seeing you again here next week.